Chinese lesbians, okay? Like, I used to work at a bakery, right? Past tense! Until this whole Chinese lesbian thing happened, okay? Because they were, let me start off, this is not a great work environment, okay? They were low-key exploiting us, and there were diddies, there were actually P-diddies working there. There were not great people working there. So it's not really a loss. But, so like, I worked in the front desk, okay? Like, at the front place, I'd be like, here's your cake, here's your cake, here's your cake. And then, so I was working at that cake place, and then my boss gave me his phone. He's like, can you play some music for the bakery? And I'm like, okay. And then my like coworker's like, I love La Seraphim Chewan. Can you play Chewan? So I'm like, okay, let's play lesbian. But the first two letters of lesbian also happen to be the first two letters of La Seraphim. So I searched it up, and then they're like, oh, lesbians in the past YouTube search history. And I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, that's just a little bit odd, right? But an hour later, I'm like, I want to listen to some chaperone. So I get the phone, CH. CH also happens to be the first two letters of Chinese lesbians. And guess what was in the search history? And then I completely forgot about this. Like, he took a bunch of pictures of like the search history and then he sent it to everybody. He's like, haha, that's so funny. I'm like, oh, okay. So like a bunch of months later, I like remember this. I'm like, oh, like remember the time that we like saw like that in the search history? And then I was like, and then she was like, oh yeah, I remember. And I'm like, oh, I saw like the pictures of the search history. And then she's like, oh, okay. And then she was like, can I see? And then I was like, okay, yeah, you can see. So I sent it to her, and I thought I sent it to her, but I accidentally sent it to the work group chat with his wife in it. And so when I send it to that group chat, I leave my phone for 5 hours, okay? I don't go back to my phone for 5 hours. And then after those 5 hours, I come back to like 30 missed calls. And then my friend responded to the picture with, oh, this is the Boston search history. She literally like gave my picture context. And then his wife, we did not know his wife was in that group chat either. So his wife responded, no adrenaline, lock and rage, mango, like this long of a message to it. She's like, why are you saying this? Like, what's going on? And then she's like, and then apparently she was scared. They were like implying that her husband was cheating on her by watching lesbians on like YouTube or something. Like, oh my god, what is wrong with Chinese lesbians? Are you guys homophobic or something? I love Chinese lesbians. I don't know what you're on. And this is my sign to tell you to not go work at a place where they're literally like where they're literally like low-key exploiting you, because this is what's gonna happen to you. And I'm starting to believe that it's true. I'm starting to believe that he is the one searching up Chinese lesbians, because they keep changing their story. They're like, oh, we haven't used this phone in a long time. Or they're like, oh, this is somebody else's phone. Like, what are you even saying? And they didn't tell anybody about it. They're just like, shh, we don't trust you. You can leave. They didn't tell any of her parents. They didn't tell anybody who worked there. Are you joking me? Oh my god!